Many of the lockdowns meant to help contain COVID-19 are already being relaxed. But thousands are still getting infected and dying every day. And experts agree the key to getting back to normal will be a vaccine available to everyone.
This virus has the potential to infect many more millions of people and to kill many more hundreds of thousands of people. There is still a high risk of a resurgence or a second wave, and people need to be on the alert.
Drug makers in the US, Europe, and China are racing to develop a vaccine. Experts fear whichever nation gets there first will hoard the drug, depriving poorer countries of access.
We need global solidarity to ensure that every person, everywhere, has access. The COVID-19 vaccine must be seen as a global public good, a people's vaccine, which a growing number of world leaders are calling for.
The British government is working towards that goal. It's holding a vaccine summit this week in partnership with Gavi, or the Global Vaccine Alliance, which is funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The event aims to raise $7.4 billion for the distribution of vaccines in the world's poorest nations. The group targets other infectious diseases like malaria, measles, and HIV, but the current priority is the fight against COVID-19.
We must use the collective purchasing power of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, to make that future vaccine affordable and available to all who need it.
Gavi says the money raised during this week's summit will fund immunizations for 3 million children. That's expected to prevent as many as 7 million deaths around the world. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, let's go to Dr. Eric Feigl-Ding in Washington, D.C. He's an epidemiologist at Harvard University's Chan School of Public Health. Welcome back to Money Talks, Doctor. Now, there are a few significant takeaways from this summit that's currently underway in London. Let's start with the first one. So countries have raised almost $9 billion to help Gavi distribute vaccines, including a potential coronavirus vaccine if and when that becomes available. How significant is this announcement?
I think that's a really significant announcement, but we have to realize at this pace, that is just literally the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we need. I think we potentially need at least 14, 15 billion, if not even greater amounts. So this is a good start, but it's also critical that we keep all of the vaccine development in the public domain, or in this Gavi's public-private partnership domain, because funds raised here will guarantee it will be available to more people as quickly as possible.
And of course, there is this genuine fear that if and when a vaccine for coronavirus does become available, that it is wealthier countries like the US who will get their hands on it first, largely because they're able to stump up the cash to fund that research at the moment. How important is it that that doesn't happen?
Yeah, there is a great fear that there will, especially in the early days, be an access issue, a first rights issue. And you already can see that with how Trump administration has been funding some of the projects with the Oxford Jenner Institute. Basically, by putting $100 million down, they actually guaranteed that they get access first. And obviously, there will be a little bit unevenness in the beginning, but ultimately, it's a pandemic. To truly stop a pandemic, every single country has to have access to it as soon as possible.
Now, the World Health Organization says at least 133 coronavirus vaccines are currently in development around the world. Can you just update us on which one is looking the most likely at this stage?
There are several groups working on it. Outside of the corporate pharma hype, I think the Jenner Institute one is looking really good. And there's also 6 others in which have been put onto this fast track of most promising vaccine. But at the same time, we do need multiple vaccine strategies because one single strategy alone could actually fail, because there's many different lines of research around different approaches to the vaccine. whether it's targeting the nucleic acid or the envelope protein per se. So I think we will have to see, but I'm hopeful that we will get a lot more trial results coming out later this summer. It will be a vaccine trial results spree. So I'm hopeful that we will find one that does work and relatively soon.
Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the top infectious diseases expert over in the US, says if everything goes according to plan, we might even see a vaccine before the end of the year. Do you share that optimism?
It is possible that we could find one that works well enough, and by well enough, I mean greater than 90% effectiveness, as in more than 9 out of 10 people who have it will be protected from it. Because we know that this virus, the more infectious the virus, the more effective it needs to be. What I think Dr. Fauci means is that we will find one that works, that we could probably give and frontline workers. But in terms of mass ability, I'm not sure if that will be available just quite yet.
Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed. Dr. Eric Feigl-Ding, thank you so much again for joining us on the program.